Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Good to be here.
Today we're really trying to unpack the political situation in Thailand. It's been moving remarkably fast.
Yeah, incredibly swift shifts. It's quite something.
Our goal here is really to figure out what's been going on, who the key players are now, and, well, what it all means, at least in the short term.
Definitely.
Because you've got this almost unbelievable situation. Thailand has seen, 3 different leaders in just 3 days.
That's right. 3 in 3 days. And it really all stems from one core event this past week.
Which was?
The Constitutional Court's decision. They decided to suspend the Prime Minister, Patongtarn Shinawatra, from her duties.
Right. And that single ruling just set everything in motion. It feels, I don't know, quite unique, this kind of turmoil.
It certainly highlights a specific kind of political fragility, yeah.
Okay, so let's zoom in on that trigger event you mentioned.
Yeah.
The thing that led to Patongtarn's suspension. It was a phone call, right? A leaked one.
Exactly. A leaked phone conversation she had with Hun Sen, who, is Cambodia's very influential former leader.
Okay, so what was the deal with that call?
Well, the specifics are interesting. It apparently happened back in mid-June.
Mid-June, okay.
And the stated aim was trying to calm down border tensions. Things had gotten pretty bad after some violence that unfortunately killed a Cambodian soldier.
So trying to defuse the situation, that sounds reasonable. What went wrong?
It wasn't the act of talking itself, it was how she talked, apparently. 2 things really drew fire from her critics back in Thailand.
Which were?
First, she reportedly called Hun Sen uncle.
Uncle, okay.
Yeah. And second, during that same conversation, she apparently criticized a Thai army commander.
Ah, so it's about protocol.
Yeah.
And maybe criticizing the military publicly.
Precisely. That combination, the informal address, the criticism of the army, that's what really sparked the controversy. It was seen as a serious breach of ministerial ethics and maybe even constitutional decorum.
Right, and that led straight to a legal challenge.
It did. Very quickly. You had 36 senators who got together and filed a petition directly with the Constitutional Court.
36, okay.
And their allegation was essentially that Patongtarn had violated the Constitution and specifically those ministerial ethics we mentioned.
Wow. And the court didn't waste any time, did they?
Not at all. Their immediate finding was that there was, and this is their wording, sufficient cause to suspect that she had breached those ethics.
Sufficient cause to suspect. So not a final judgment yet, but enough for action.
Exactly. Enough for them to issue that temporary ban, suspending her from her duties as prime minister while they conduct a full investigation, which is, still ongoing.
And the immediate fallout from that suspension was just, bam, this rapid leadership shuffle.
Absolutely chaotic, almost. First, we saw Surya Yungrum Grinkit step in as acting prime minister.
But that lasted, what, a single day?
Just one day. Then come Thursday, that was July 3rd, 2025, the Interior Minister, Phumtham Wachayachai, he stepped in.
So he's the second interim PM just this week.
That's right. And his taking over those caretaker duties, that was agreed upon pretty quickly. It happened at the very first meeting of a brand new cabinet.
A new cabinet. So that was forming right around the same time.
Yeah, literally just after the new ministers were sworn in by the king, King Maha Vajiralongkorn. They had their first meeting and agreed Phumtham would take the helm for now.
This kind of rapid succession, it raises questions, doesn't it, about stability?
Oh, definitely. On one hand, you could say it shows procedures are being followed, but on the other, this constant churn, well, it doesn't exactly scream government stability, does it? It must impact confidence.
And here's a slightly strange detail, right?
Yeah.
Just before her suspension actually kicked in, Patongtarn had appointed herself to a position in that new cabinet.
That's correct. It's quite the timing. She appointed herself as culture minister.
Culture minister.
And was actually sworn into that specific role at the Grand Palace on Thursday, just hours before the suspension order presumably took full effect. Adds another sort of layer of complexity to the timeline.
Wild. Okay, let's broaden the view a bit. This crisis, as you said, isn't happening in isolation.
No, not at all. Her government, Patongtarn's government, was already facing some pretty serious headwinds. The economy has been sluggish.
And that was showing up in public opinion.
Massively. There's some compelling poll data. Back in March, her popularity was sitting around 30.9%.
Okay, respectable.
But by late June, just before all this blew up, it had plummeted down to just 9.2%.
Wow, that's a huge drop from over 30 down to single digits in just a few months.
Yeah, a critical loss of public support. So, that makes any kind of political instability like this even more dangerous for her and her administration. The ground was already shaky.
So stepping back even further then, what does this mean for the sort of bigger political story in Thailand? Because this isn't just about one PM or one phone call. It feels like part of that larger narrative involving the Shinawatra dynasty.
It absolutely is. You can't really separate this from the context of her family, especially her father, the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra.
Right. And he's got his own legal battles going on, completely separate from this, right?
Entirely separate. He's facing a royal defamation suit. That's under Thailand's very strict lèse-majesté laws.
Which is a very serious charge there.
Extremely serious. Carries heavy penalties, and it's often, a factor in Thai political conflicts. It's important to add, though, Thaksin has consistently denied those charges.
And he's pledged loyalty to the monarchy.
Repeatedly, yes. He's been very clear about pledging allegiance to the crown.
And Thaksin's situation is already complicated, isn't it? Thinking back, he avoided jail time on a previous conviction.
That's right. He spent about 6 months, not in prison, but in hospital detention.
On medical grounds, supposedly.
On medical grounds, yes, before being released on parole back in February of last year.
So he's technically out on parole now.
Yes, but even that isn't fully settled. There's another twist.
No.
The Supreme Court is actually scheduled to scrutinize that hospital stay this month, in fact.
Scrutinize it, meaning?
Meaning they'll review the circumstances of his detention and parole, and there's a potential outcome, however likely or unlikely, that they could rule against it and actually send him back to jail to serve out his original sentence.
Wow. So connecting those dots, Patongtarn suspended, Thaksin facing defamation charges, and potentially going back to jail. It really paints a picture of intense, ongoing legal pressure on the whole family, doesn't it?
It certainly looks that way. It suggests this dynasty is facing challenges on multiple legal fronts, and that inevitably shapes the entire political landscape.
So this deep dive, it really shows us it's not just about a temporary suspension. It's this really complex mix of political ethics, public opinion shifting rapidly, and these deep-seated dynastic legal fights all playing out at once.
Yeah, it's a potent combination, a real snapshot of a system under considerable stress.
And it makes you think, doesn't it?
Absolutely. In a country where political power can apparently shift so incredibly fast, maybe triggered by just one conversation or these long-running legal battles, it really poses a question. How might all these events, the sheer speed and volatility, how might that shape public trust in the system? And what does it mean for the future of political conversations and stability in Thailand? What really stands out to you when you see the sequence unfold so quickly?